You won't believe what I came home to. I pulled into my driveway, ready for a quiet weekend, when I heard music blasting from my backyard. Confused, I walked around the side of my house, and there it was. A full-blown wedding. I'm talking chairs, decorations, a buffet line, even a DJ. But the craziest part, it was happening in my backyard. My pool was filled with strangers laughing, drinking, and taking pictures like they owned the place. And right in the middle of it all was Karen, the head of our HOA, smiling like she was the guest of honor. Now, let me be clear. I'm the legal owner of this property. The land, the house, the pool, everything. But apparently that didn't matter to Karen. She took it upon herself to borrow my space for her niece's wedding without asking. No phone call, no heads up, not even a note. Just showed up, unlocked the gate, and acted like it was hers to use. At first, I thought maybe it was a misunderstanding. Maybe someone rented the wrong house. But no, this was all intentional. And when I confronted her, let's just say things got heated fast. She actually said I was being selfish for ruining their special day. I wish I could say that was the end of it. But what happened next turned a bad situation into something I never saw coming. Let's just say, this wedding left more than just footprints in my backyard. So here's a little background to help this all make sense. I bought this house about 3 years ago. It was a huge step for me, my first property, and honestly, something I worked really hard for. It came with a big backyard, a pool, and just enough space to finally feel like I had some peace. The neighborhood, pretty quiet, except for the HOA, and at the center of it all was Karen. Now, Karen isn't just your average nosy neighbor. She's the kind of person who knows everyone's business, checks your trash cans for violations, and walks around with a clipboard like she's running a military base. I tried to stay on her good side when I first moved in, but it didn't take long to realize she likes control. And if you don't fall in line, you're on her radar. Over time, I noticed little things. She'd comment on my lawn, send letters about unauthorized plants, even told me my outdoor furniture didn't match the community aesthetic. But nothing ever came close to this. Using my property for a wedding, without permission, that's a whole new level. When I asked how she even got in, she just waved me off and said, "Oh, the gate was open," which it wasn't. That gate is always locked. So now I'm wondering, did she break an or does she somehow have a key? And why would she think she could get away with it? That's when I started looking around and noticed something strange. As I stood there, still trying to wrap my head around everything, I started noticing details that made my stomach twist. The patio furniture, some of it was missing. My grill had been moved. And worst of all, there were muddy footprints all over the deck, like people had been running around for hours. I looked over at Karen, who was busy laughing with some guests, completely unfazed by the fact that she was throwing a full-on wedding party in someone else's backyard. My backyard. I started asking a few people what was going on, and that's when I realized most of them thought this was Karen's property. She had told them I was out of town, and that she had arranged to use the space through the HOA. One guy even thanked me for letting the community come together. I didn't even know who he was. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just a one-off bad decision. This was planned. She had organized everything behind my back and told people whatever she needed to keep it under wraps. I stepped back inside to grab my phone, thinking I needed to record this, or maybe even call someone. But when I opened the door, I stopped cold. A woman in a wedding dress was sitting on my couch, fixing her makeup in my mirror like it was no big deal. That's when I realized they hadn't just taken over my backyard. They were inside my house, and I had no idea how far this would go. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The bride, full gown, makeup kit spread out, totally comfortable, just smiled and said, "Oh hey, Karen said you were cool with us getting ready in here." I stood there frozen, trying to figure out how strangers had not only gotten into my backyard, but were now walking through my house like it was part of the venue. My bedroom door was cracked open, and I could hear voices inside. That's when I realized this wasn't just careless. This was a full invasion of privacy. I walked down the hallway, heart racing, and saw two bridesmaids sitting on my bed sipping champagne, their shoes kicked off on my rug. One of them looked up and casually said, "The lighting in here is so much better than the salon." I didn't even respond. I just turned around and went straight for the security panel by the front door. That's when I noticed something even more alarming. My security cameras had been unplugged. Someone had gone out of their way to make sure none of this was recorded. My hands were shaking. I didn't know whether to start throwing people out or call the police. But just as I was about to act, I saw Karen walking into the house, carrying a cake box like she didn't have a care in the world. She spotted me and gave a fake surprised look, like I was the one intruding. "Oh, you're back early," she said, smiling. That's when everything snapped into focus. She had planned this like it was her own home, and I had no idea what she was going to try next. I stared at Karen, waiting for some kind of explanation, anything that would make this make sense. But all she did was brush past me like she owned the place, setting the cake down on my kitchen counter. "The caterers are running late," she said casually, opening my fridge like it was hers. "I hope you don't mind. We had to use your oven for the hors d'oeuvres." My brain couldn't even process that. These people were cooking in my kitchen, using my dishes. My home wasn't just a backdrop. They were treating it like it belonged to them. I told her she needed to shut this down immediately, but she just gave me that same fake smile and said, "Technically, since the HOA manages the community common areas, and your property borders the shared path, it's not entirely private during events." I was speechless. Was she seriously trying to argue that my backyard, my house was fair game because of some twisted interpretation of HOA rules? That's when she dropped the real bomb. Karen pulled out a folded piece of paper from her purse and held it up like it was a trump card. "I filed a usage form weeks ago. Didn't you check the board meeting notes? You didn't respond, so we assumed there were no objections. I didn't even such a form existed, and I never saw a single note or notice. My mailbox had been mysteriously empty all month. Then it hit me, what if she'd been intercepting my HOA mail? Was this bigger than just a wedding? Was Karen trying to take control of my property, one technicality at a time? I didn't even respond to Karen at that point. I just walked outside, pulled out my phone, and started recording. I filmed everything: the guests in my pool, the DJ set up on my lawn, the catering crew unloading trays through my garage door, which I now realized had been left wide open. I even caught Karen's little paperwork speech on camera. And while I recorded, I quietly dialed the non-emergency police line. Within 20 minutes, 2 officers arrived. The moment they stepped onto my property, you could feel the energy shift. Karen, still trying to keep it together, walked up to them confidently, waving the same form like it meant something. She explained the event, called it a community celebration, and claimed I was just misunderstanding HOA policy. But when the officers asked her one simple question, "Do you have the homeowner's written permission?" She froze. I showed them my ID, my property deed, and the video I had taken just minutes earlier. That's when things unraveled fast. The officers calmly started asking guests to leave. One of the bridesmaids burst into tears. The DJ looked horrified and started packing up without even unplugging his speakers. And Karen, she didn't say a word. She just stood there frozen, watching her carefully crafted plan fall apart. But just when I thought it was over, one of the officers pulled me aside. He said, "You might want to check with the county office. It looks like someone recently tried to file a request to change the property line." My heart sank. Karen hadn't just hijacked my house for a party. She had tried to redraw the boundary on my land. This wasn't just a wedding. It was a takeover attempt. and I had no idea how deep it really went. The next morning, I went straight to the county records office, and sure enough, someone had filed a request to rezone a small strip of my backyard, right where the gate was, claiming it was part of the shared HOA access path. The name on the request, Karen's. She'd tried to use a loophole to blur the property line and claim partial control, probably hoping no one would notice until it was too late. Luckily, the filing hadn't gone through yet, and with the evidence I had, videos, police reports, and photos, I was able to block it and file a formal complaint. Over the next few weeks, things quieted down. Karen didn't show her face for a while, and the HOA board suddenly got very interested in revising some of their internal policies. I started getting apologies from a few neighbors who attended the wedding. They had no idea what was really going on and were shocked when the truth came out. One even helped me clean up after the mess, which honestly meant a lot. In the end, the wedding didn't ruin my home, but it definitely opened my eyes. I learned how important it is to stay on top of HOA documents, keep your security tight, and always trust your gut when something feels off. Karen may have overstepped, but she underestimated how far I was willing to go to protect what's mine. It started with a stolen pool party, but it ended with me taking back full control of my home. And that's something I'll never let happen again.